My boyfriend kept asking for the password to my phone, and when I finally gave it to him, he blocked my best friend. Am I the asshole for breaking up with him over this? Okay, so for some background, I'm a 24-year-old female, and my now ex-boyfriend, let's call him Mark, is 25. We'd been together for about a year. Everything was going pretty well, or so I thought. The one constant issue we had was his insecurity, specifically about my male best friend, Alex, who is also 24. Alex and I have been friends since we were literally 5 years old. We grew up next door to each other. Our families are super close. He's like the brother I never had. We tell each other everything. We hang out. We have a million inside jokes. It's a completely platonic relationship, and it always has been. I've made this crystal clear to Mark from day one. Alex has his own long-term girlfriend, Sarah, who I'm also good friends with. The four of us have even hung out together multiple times, but Mark just couldn't get over it. He'd make little passive-aggressive comments whenever I mentioned Alex. If Alex texted me, Mark would ask what we were talking about. If I planned to see Alex, even with Sarah, Mark would get sulky. I tried to be patient. I invited Mark to hang out with Alex and me more often so he could see for himself that there was nothing to worry about. He usually declined, saying he was busy. The real problem started about a month ago. Mark became obsessed with wanting the password to my phone. He said it was about full transparency in a relationship. He claimed if I had nothing to hide, I shouldn't have a problem giving it to him. I told him that it wasn't about hiding anything. It was about privacy. My phone has my work emails, my financial information, private conversations with my family and other friends, not just Alex. It felt like a huge violation of my personal space. He wouldn't let it go. It became an almost daily argument. He'd say things like, "All my friends have their girlfriends' passwords, and it feels like you're protecting your conversations with Alex from me." He was essentially framing it as if my refusal was proof of guilt. It was exhausting. I kept telling him that trust shouldn't require surveillance. If he couldn't trust me without reading my private messages, then we had a much bigger problem than a phone password. This went on for weeks. It was putting a huge strain on our relationship. I felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells. Finally, last week, I just snapped. We were having the same argument again, and I was just so tired of fighting. I thought, you know what? Fine, maybe if he sees for himself that there's nothing going on, he'll finally drop it and we can move past this. It felt like a last-ditch effort to save the relationship. So I caved. I told him, "Fine, Mark, here's the password. But this is a one-time thing. You look. You see there's nothing there. And then we never talk about this again. This isn't going to be a regular thing where you check my phone whenever you feel insecure." He agreed. He promised he just needed to see for himself to get some peace of mind. He took my phone and went into the other room. I felt sick to my stomach. It just felt so wrong. He was in there for about 20 minutes. When he came back, he had this smug look on his face. He handed my phone back and said, "See, was that so hard? Now we can move on." He acted like he'd done me a favor. I didn't want to fight anymore, so I just let it go for the night. The next day, I was at work, and I went to message Alex to see if he and Sarah were free for a game night that weekend. I opened my texts, and I couldn't find our chat history. It was just gone. I was confused, so I tried searching for his name in my contacts to start a new message. Nothing. His contact was deleted. I checked my call log, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. Everything. He was gone. It took me a second to realize what must have happened. I immediately called Mark. I was furious. I asked him straight up, "Did you delete and block Alex from my phone?" And he was so calm about it. He said, "Yeah, I did. I saw your messages. It was all just a little too friendly for my liking. I did what was best for our relationship." He's a bad influence, and you don't need that kind of distraction. I was speechless. I couldn't believe the audacity. I told him, "You had no right. Our deal was that you could look, not that you could control my life and choose my friends." "You didn't just delete a contact, Mark. You blocked my best friend of almost 20 years on every single platform." He actually said, "You'll thank me later. Now you can focus on us." That was it for me. I saw him for who he truly was in that moment. It wasn't about insecurity anymore. It was about control. He didn't trust me, and he never would. He felt entitled to dictate who I could and could not have in my life. I told him we were done. I went to our apartment after work. Thankfully, it's in my name, and I packed all his stuff into boxes. When he got home, I had them waiting by the door. I told him to get out. He was shocked. He actually said, "You're breaking up with me over him, so I was right all along." He started yelling that I was choosing my secret lover over him. I just told him, "No, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing my right to have friends and privacy. I'm choosing not to be in a relationship with someone who is this controlling and manipulative." He left, but not before calling me every name in the book. After he was gone, I had to do the walk of shame. I used my laptop to message Alex's girlfriend, Sarah, on Facebook to explain what happened and to get Alex's number again. It was so humiliating. Alex was obviously hurt and confused about why I had suddenly ghosted him. When I explained, he was incredibly understanding, but I still felt awful for putting him through that. Now, a couple of days have passed. My family and Alex all agree I did the right thing. But some of Mark's friends, and even one of my own mutual friends, have been messaging me saying I overreacted. They said he was just trying to protect the relationship and that I threw away a year-long commitment over a silly fight. They're saying that if I really loved Mark, I would have been willing to compromise and distance myself from Alex. They're making me feel like maybe I was the asshole for not being more understanding of his feelings and for ending things so abruptly instead of trying to work it out. So, I have to ask the internet. Was I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend after he used my phone password to block my best friend? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more stories. Check out my playlists for similar videos.